James.
Hey, folks, what's going on there? It is another Everything and Nothing podcast here at the Everything Nothing podcast studio, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, and only today can never be the same as tomorrow.
Nope.
We have rap and we have music producers and we have rap historians here today. And today you're going to learn how to rap about hip hop history. Indubitably. Okay, so it is Sunday, June the 30th, the last day of June. And what better month to have music on the mind but June, because the summertime is starting to kick in.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let this beautiful, lovely panel take off. But first thing I want to do is show everybody I have the official Run DMC outfit on with the show time.
Oh, but you got laces. You got laces, though.
Yo, but I got regular laces.
You have to take the laces out.
I don't have the fat joints.
Just take them out.
I'm telling you, that's what's up.
Just
right
take
there.
the laces out.
But listen to me. We're going to be talking about rap music. We're going to be listening to some rap music. I can tell you that much. And we're going to be talking a little bit about music, you know, and what it takes to actually make a rap song or a hit, right? So we're going to go around. You know how we do it here at the Everything and Nothing podcast. Joe, you want to take off for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, everybody.
Put that thing right here. Boom.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you want that? That's what you need.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen out there, he is the infamous Caucasian Barry White. All right.
Yeah, so I'm Jerry X, everybody. If you don't know, Jerry X, I'm an MC in the Dead Crew. I have a long history of music, period. I basically just write music. It has nothing to do with the style. It has nothing to do with anything like that. I know Shannon since I'm a baby.
Word up.
Since Shannon was a baby, too.
Word up.
We were cute, huh?
Fuck me.
We were cute,
Holy
right?
shit.
We were cute, right?
Listen, neither one of us had any ink on our bodies, I'll tell you that.
No, even that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Inkless.
Inkless. But it does tell a story, right? You know that. We do it for
does.
the other reason.
It does. It does. It totally does.
Uh,
But yeah, so
tell everybody your interesting story, because first of all, Jerry is very influential in underground hardcore scene, just in general. Tell us about that. Like the idea of you doing music the allure has never been that super mainstream.
no, definitely not. When I was a kid, well, you want to take it back to the beginning. Basically, my first band was a rock band with Ill Bill, who basically was me, Ill Bill, Mike Palmieri, who was in a band called Life of Agony as well.
Yes, big name rock
So
band.
he was with that, and Mike Nabatoff. So we started off as a rock band doing covers like Battle of the Band stuff, and we're talking about I was like 11, like I was about 11 years old, and we were doing that. I was 11 years old. It was like what, 87?
Yeah,
You was that sixth grader, huh?
80s.
Yeah,
80s.
You know what I mean?
well.
You know what I'm saying? I was doing stuff like that. So
Come get closer to that so
What
people
even-
can hear you.
what even
Your
happened?
handsome voice.
What even happened was, okay, so then we could fast forward, because then I was just playing in like local bands and stuff like that. And this is why I was saying how strange it is that we're here where we are now, because I was a hype man for a band before that was the cool thing to do.
Yes.
There was none of that. I mean, you had Flavor Flav, you had that, but in rock music, you didn't have that. So a band from here, from New Jersey, Mucky Pup, from Bergenfield, New Jersey.
Big shout out.
Big shout out to Baby Chris.
201.
Big shout out.
Word up.
Big shout out to Baby Chris. A band called Monkey Pup. They were he was playing bass in my band, New York City Strength, at the time, who was Mio, the old original drummer from Biohazard. Like you see,
Another great band.
it's
Brooklyn Boys.
This is what I'm
6
saying.
degrees.
So
Yes.
it goes deep. With me, it's like 3 degrees. That's how close I am.
2.5.
Yeah, it's like that. My finger's on the pulse like that. So we went and we're listening to the demos for an album, and I went, oh, I should be on that track, bro. I would sound really good on that track. And this was when let's say John Cicada came out, and this is funny because my girl has been like tortured by this song for about
only
a
your
month.
girl. I'm
She
sure
can't-
everybody's been tortured by
She
this.
can't. No, she can't get it out of her mind. And this was when he had hopped out from being like the hype man and the background vocalist, and I was like, that can't be a bad thing to get on tour and do that. So I was like, let me do that, and they were like, yeah, sure, you can do that. So then here I am touring around Europe and playing with this band from New Jersey, just from me saying, hey, I can do that. You know,
the power of
Suggestion.
and just asking.
Suggestion.
You just ask, and that's it.
Isn't that a hard concept for some people to digest sometimes?
It's crazy.
And like just this past week, you know, and James, who's now going to be helping hopefully with some engineering back there, and James knows, like, everybody has these questions. Well, what do you do? And I go, well, shit, you put one foot in front of the other,
Yep.
the left one, then the right one, then the right one, then the left one again. You know, and that's how it works. And if you want to go do something, you go in that direction and you ask, and then you do.
Exactly.
That's
you can't be scared.
Done deal.
People think if you ask somebody for something that you're somewhat submissive to them on
Yes.
some level. You owe them something, like you're a bitch. Like you got to go ask that guy for help. Yo, I could do it all by myself. You can. You can.
Nobody can.
You can do it by yourself.
No
It
man's
doesn't
an
mean
island.
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen. The greatest things that have ever happened in my life is because I asked somebody something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like,
could
oh
be
my
that
God,
voice
please.
too. Could be the voice.
It has a lot to do with it.
It does.
All right, Marv, tell us what's going on in the music business.
There's a lot going on. I'm a little out of it at this particular point. I'm from the 80s. I've done some things in the past. However, I think
You're
some
not
of
from the
things-
80s. You're from now, right now.
I'm from right now.
Yo, this
You know, I
guy.
played the band. I played guitar. We played a group called Empress and stuff. I started out in playing high school, and I was playing the high school band and playing guitar. And I had some great mentors around me. One of my mentors was Fred McFarlane. He's a great keyboard player. He's done many tracks that people know, and one being Robin S. You Got to Show Me Love. Somebody Else's Guy by Jocelyn Brown. Different things. So I had a lot of mentors when I was growing up. So when I started playing the music, I started focusing towards production because I really wanted to get into the record writing side and stuff. So I, started to get my own equipment and started putting people around me that I knew that could, especially my family. With the point that Jerry made earlier, you have to have a village to kind of build you on you and stuff.
Amen.
So I had a phenomenal singer, I believe it was Capitol Records. We had a
Wow.
deal.
She was with Bryce.
That's a big name.
Bryce, right? So she was right during that time. It was Bryce. Tell me what you going through.
Yeah, I remember that joint.
So we had a showcase.
You will get dinner and a show here.
That's right.
I had did a production for this artist that was on Capitol Records. We had a showcase down at something Spodio's on 23rd Street, and Capitol Records was in there. I believe it's Capitol. Long story short, there was a producer in a house by the name of KURTIS Mantronics, and KURTIS loved her voice. He said, I have a track that's coming out, and I want you to sing on it. The name of the track, because she was singing background for one of the artists I was producing, was called Gotta Have Your Love. Dum, 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 dum. That's my girl. We're friends.
Wait, now that we're all hyped up, how does the rest of the song go?
Gotta find a way to in my heart.
Yes.
I got to have your love.
Yes.
I am so matter of fact,
Great song. I don't know if
Great
we're
song.
both tone deaf or just one of us.
I think it's you, Shane.
Wait, I would bet dollars on that. I'm not sure. Listen to me.
But
Unless it's tone low.
just from my experience, the music business has been hard to break into. I had opportunities with different artists. I did a remix for Genuine. I did a remix for John Legend. I've done things that I know had quality substance to it. And you just have to be part of that family when they want to embrace you.
Yes.
If it ain't your time, you still got to go around.
Yes.
However, you cannot do it by yourself. You
No.
still got to reach out. You still got to network.
You need
Yes.
a team.
Right now, the house I'm living in is by the same young lady I spoke to earlier named Wandress, had a boyfriend, fiance by the name of Kevin Dean. And Kevin Dean wrote many good songs. He did I'm Just Mary by Mary J. Blige.
Mary J. Blige.
Right, he took the beat from
Elton John.
Elton John. He did "Give It Up, Turn It Loose" by what's the name of that girl group back in the days and stuff. But one of his biggest hits was by Horace Brown called "One for the Money, Two for the Show, for you to get the honeys." So I was been fortunate enough to be around a lot of successful people.
But what's the lag of like? So what's lagging behind the fact that there's no consistency, or the fact that you're saying that maybe, like you said, nobody's just passing the love on your way?
You know what? Both.
That's a
I
good
think
question.
yes, and I think I can attribute it a lot to me because I had to feed my family.
Yes.
So I had to make a decision to feed my family and focus on today than possibilities. When you get to past the age of 40, you can still pursue
And
your dream.
you're not there yet, are you? You're just working on the 40.
I'm 40.
Leave it there.
Leave it there.
That's
Leave-
what's the
leave-
comment.
leave it there.
That's you got.
It's 40.
That's how exactly how old I am. 40.
But I feel
40-ish.
I feel 20.
Which is our new hit record coming out next week. 40.
40-ish.
But I think if you're a musician and you're an artist and you love what you do, you write from your heart.
Yes.
You wake up one morning, you don't have to listen to the radio to find what you're going to do today.
Right.
You,
To
you
find
go,
your
you
inspiration.
go into the lab, as Curtis and I call it, and you put down what you feel. In 5 minutes, you have a rough draft. I might sleep on it in another 24 hours, and my mind is going crazy. And all of a sudden, I wake up in the morning, and I got a Dave Foster production. Dave Foster was one of my mentors because he wrote these crazy ballads with strings and violin. So I wrote a track just based upon his performances, his thinking stuff. It wasn't Dave Foster.
So here's a question for you, and I'm sure we're gonna move on, right? Because I want everybody to get introduced to Curtis here. It's the rap historian, music historian. Between you two guys here, there's just a lot of history and music. But I want everybody to know about Curtis and what's going on. And the reason why is because I have a lot of questions as to how much influence other music has had on the hip hop world. That is really what this message is. And that's why I'm saying today is about not just rap music, but about rapping about the history of hip hop music, where the history came into play with hip hop music, because Jerry does a very unique style of rap music, incorporating a lot of the music that he has history with, and the same with you two gentlemen, right? Because you're very much into music and ballads and jazz, probably, and influences that way, and R&B, and how that influence has happened in hip hop, and that's where my man Curtis comes in.
Well, you know what? Because of the nature, the title, the subject matter of this show, I will
Hello,
now
Curtis.
take time. What's up, my Nubian?
I want to hear. We want everybody out there wants to know who you are.
First, I got to get in the right character. I got the wrong glasses on. Shannon.
Okay, I'm
so
sorry.
As I take off these and
I was
put
gonna
on
bring those.
the
It's coming.
official.
I was going to
All right,
bring those.
now,
I was going to bring those.
Listen,
I was
it's
gonna bring
official.
those. There we
It's
go.
official.
Yes,
Tissue.
yes.
Party people in the place to be. If you don't know,
Yes.
I'm letting you know on the microphone at this point in time in your life.
Yeah.
My name is Curtis Sherrod.
Listen,
so
I love. I absolutely. I am enamored
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
it goes with your
With-
outfit.
with the
you know?
outfit,
So I
yes.
need
With
to
the
have his
Adidas.
outfit with these spectacles, these Kazals, which
Yes.
was
Yes.
all that in the bag of chips when we were
Yes.
coming up. You
Uh-huh.
know,
It was
Yeah.
It was a
Very
bonton
important.
bag of barbecue potato chips up in this piece.
Yep.
yeah. So I'm very fortunate. I mean, I had my first hip hop record in 1979. I lived in the same neighborhood that Kool Herc lived in. He got me my first hip hop gig. And so when it comes to hip hop, we go back like car seats. I was the executive director of the Hip Hop Culture Center. I did over 10,000 hours there. I did programming for everybody and your mother.
Nice.
I saw every.
Yo, what? My mom's was there, by the way.
And
I'm
you
just
know what? Shannon's mom got bars. She got bars. She was like,
She be cooking shit up like in the kitchen.
yeah. And so to me, it's just amazing because I'm from the Bronx, how a poor borough created a multi-billion-dollar industry.
And you heard it here, folks. And to me, this is where rap history comes into play. Yes, rap music started in the Bronx.
Started in the Bronx and became a multi-billion-dollar industry. Some of the reasons that instigated it: the school system stopped giving music lessons. That's one. Two, New York was going through a horrific fiscal period at the time. Mayor Beam, who was the mayor back in the days,
Yes.
he couldn't get bonds approved. Gerald Ford, who was the president, told New York pretty much to go to hell.
Yep.
You know, so can you imagine a point in time where you could go to a street lamp, right? You could go to a street lamp and set up your sound system equipment and the cops wouldn't come. That's how ill New York was. But for us, it was beautiful. Like for me, they was like, yo, Kurt, you want to be down with the crew? Yeah, I want to be down with the crew. What I got to do? They was like, get speakers for us. You know how we used to get speakers?
Take it.
We used to ride the 2 train or the 4 train or the 5 train. You sit in the first seat. You know when you hear next stop is 23rd Street?
Yeah.
They have Phillips speakers in there, right? You would ride the train with a knapsack and your Phillips screwdriver, right? You put your finger
Listen,
under the seat.
We ain't condoning this. I'm just saying that's how we did it.
That's how we did it, I heard, right? And so you put your finger in that hole, you pop up the seat, you get your Phillips screwdriver, 1, 2, 3, 4, pow.
And
Boom.
wires.
You get 4 of those, that's a speaker. You know, you and the crew. And so it was all about ingenuity, taking something that didn't exist and creating a platform for people to artistically express themselves. And that's what hip hop is. It's a way for people without means to make it happen. First element, graffiti. Second element, the DJ. Third element, the B-boy. Last element, the MC. We never called them rappers. They were MCs.
MCs.
And that's my story and I'm sticking with it.
That's what's up. Word. You know, I love the story of hip hop. First of all, hip hop started when we were all at that age where we needed that new movement, that new sense of something that belonged to our generation. So we needed that hip hop music because basically that was the
Post punk rock.
post. Correct. 100%.
It's just hip hop started where punk rock left off.
Yeah.
It is the new street sound of the people.
Of the people.
Bottom line. And that's what punk rock was. And that was the movement into that.
Yeah.
That's why it's one and the same.
And we got along. I remember going to CBGBs and going to all those spots and getting it in. I remember the first time at the Peppermint Lounge and all these spots was like, yo, they're letting us get down with them?
Absolutely.
Yo, this is dope.
Absolutely.
Because you know how that happens,
Same
right? The
thing.
bonding happens with the
It's
I would say the
economic
unacceptance of society and the acceptance of the people who are like, yo, that's a movement I want to be part of.
Revolution.
Absolutely.
Revolution.
It's the same thing. It's all the
Same with
thing.
rock and
Reggae
roll.
too.
Same thing with blues.
Revolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same thing with all of these music genres is the fact that it was caused by a revolution. And I mean, and Elvis took the blues and gospel and turned it into that music where everybody could listen, you know, with the help of, I mean, plenty of blues and jazz singers, you know, but that was the idea. So hip hop and rap music brought that new meaning to music.
And the blackout.
Yes.
Don't leave out the blackout.
77.
If it wasn't for the blackout, hip hop might not have got to the point that it is because we all wanted to have a fancy mixer and to have speakers and turntables and amplifiers and headphones and mic. A Shure mic, really? How are you gonna get a Shure mic? You know, in the
I
hood.
got one right there. Look.
Yeah.
Look, I got one right there
His
now.
own little case and everything. I love
Case.
Shure. You see?
He brought it with him.
I always have it.
Well, that's how real MCs do it. But yeah,
I always have it.
No.
I have my music.
See,
I have my laptop.
Jay,
I have the whole. I could play a show in here if I wanted to right now.
we might have to end with that.
well,
we might have to
I'm
end with a
hoping-
show. You know what I mean?
Listen to me. That's my hopes is that I get some bars.
You know what? You put it in the atmosphere.
It's out there.
It's
It may
out
happen.
there. You
It
know,
may happen.
it can. I smell
It
it.
could happen.
I smell that going down.
It could happen.
But I mean, to me, that's what hip hop means to me as a child and growing up in that era. We were going through this weird phase of music, right? Because that disco thing was kind of, I guess, a little weird. But then, because I didn't think there was any real focus as to musicians and artists and singers maybe, but not necessarily the music. The music was kind of, to me, it had a very hollow sound along the way. And then came hip hop. And all of a sudden, people were like, there's a message now.
And I think it's classism too. With disco, which I dug too, but the thing
Yeah, me
with
too.
disco, you know, you had to have fancy shoes, you had to have the clothes, you had to know how to hustle, boom, 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 boom. You couldn't wear sneakers.
Right.
The biggest thing that pushed hip hop with young people, disco people was like, you got to wear hard bottom shoes to get in. If you don't wear hard bottom shoes, you can't get in.
Right.
The first club, the Fever, was like, yo, you could wear sneakers.
Yeah.
So as a young person, where you going? Where you going to wear hard bottom shoes,
Right.
or where you could wear sneakers?
Right. Because the sneakers were $20 and the hard bottom shoes were $50. And who had $50
Who
back
had
then?
$50?
Nobody.
Exactly. So between that and then the fact that we got to make our own music, like
Yes.
we could just take the beats of things that we like and chop them up and remix them and reiterate them and regurgitate them. I think that really helped too. And so, and it was young people. Anything young and rebellious, you know, we're gonna like it if it's fly.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And that's the whole idea behind, for me, that's where music in general comes from. For me, it comes from your heart and it comes from your soul. It comes from your message of sacrifice and hurt and pain. And to me, when you sing about those things or you rap about those things, it comes from you. It doesn't come from anywhere else. And to me, that stems along every kind of music. Rock and roll music, blues is my favorite. Blues, jazz. When you know the difference of when it's coming from your soul rather than just your voice, to me, that's what music is. And that's why it rings true for me a lot, hip hop, because it happened when I was a child. And now it's a very big part of all mainstream music of all kinds. And they thought it wouldn't happen.
Who would have thought that hip hop would take us this far, right? You know?
Yeah, true facts. So I'm very interested, Marvin, as to how do you think music and being a musician plays a part in the production of hip hop now?
Good question. I think by virtue of you being able to write your own material, control your own material, and see it through to the end, gives you full satisfaction on what you're doing as an artist, as a creator, being able to sing your music, to understand what you want to come of this versus having somebody else tell you, well, I think it should go this way. A lot of artists have fought today for that creative rights to own and produce and control their destiny. And the record company used to tell you, no, you have to do it this way. And there's many artists today who have went in the opposite direction. Prince was one of them.
Yes.
Prince was one of them who said, I'm not following you guys anymore. I'm going to put my own music out my own way. And he sold millions.
And
Wu-Tang.
Yes.
Yep.
And how many references are there to Prince and Prince's music, just in the music business in general? Like, he was an incredible musician. I had an opportunity to meet him many years ago. Him and Lenny Kravitz. They did a small concert at the Palladium when I worked there. And I get a chance to meet him.
Where?
At the Palladium. Yo.
I have this. I gotta go get it. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Artifacts.
He's bringing an artifact.
Artifacts.
Now, that's how long Jerry and I know each other. And Jerry is a very dear friend of mine. The idea that he still has stuff, I think, from younger days is just amazing to me. And his idea, and that's why the whole music thing for me and this whole thing brings a lot of it together, is because he comes from.
He got the artifacts.
I still can't even believe that.
Look at that.
He went like booyah.
Yeah, Palladium, Run DMC, Russell Simmons. Yeah, this is the real deal
Onyx.
here.
That's dope.
And Boss.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture because, believe it or not, I own the world's largest hip hop flyer collection on the planet.
Yeah, go
Oh
ahead.
wow.
Yes,
Go
he does.
ahead.
And so just seeing memorabilia
that-
like
Go
that
ahead.
makes
That
me
was
feel
incredible.
good. You know, I gotta
That's-
take a picture of that.
that was-
I love that.
That's
That
crazy.
was my all access
And you'll never
pass for
see
that
Russell
night.
Simmons presents. That's like back in the
Yeah,
day.
that's when he did everything.
Yeah.
So it brings me to a very interesting point, right? So we're talking about the hip hop culture and the hip hop life and all that. And Jerry and I don't necessarily. I mean, I was, grew up in the projects, so I had a lot more influence with hip hop in my life than I think most white people or white kids or white boys growing up, and Jerry too. So we grew up in a neighborhood that was very eclectic, and the idea that Jerry has had a rock band and now is in the hip hop world, and how he combines them both, to me, really shows the whole idea of how much hip hop and how much rap music has encompassed, how far the reach has gone past the Bronx, New York. And that's what I love about hip hop so much, is that, I mean, I don't care where you go or what you're doing now. There's a hip hop song on everything.
We're talking about Run DMC with Walk
Yes.
This Way.
Yes. And Aerosmith, The Breakthrough.
Right.
Yes.
Major crossover.
Yes.
Major.
Public Enemy.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole part about this that's crazy is I got this because Biohazard's management was Russell Simmons. So basically, I got in because of a rock band into this, and Biohazard did the song Judgment Night with Onyx.
Yours, mine, it's all about crime.
Yes.
So they did the song for the Judgment Night soundtrack, the actual song. So that's how I got into this. That night, Busta Rhymes was there backstage with Charlie Brown. And Busta Rhymes
leaders of the new
Busta
school.
Rhymes had hit somebody that night. He hit somebody that night, and they were like, I was like, yo, this is fucking great. I was like, this is like the best life ever.
So Busta Bus was busting people up.
Yeah.
What's funny
he
is
had hit somebody that
he used
night.
to come into the clubs that I worked in all the time in the city, you know, and that's kind of how he got his name. I heard is that he always used to be at the front door trying to get in and be like, yo, Busta Rhyme.
And
that's
how you
that
got
was
it. It
That's
worked.
93. 93.
That's George Bush 1.
that's not
93.
that long ago.
Yeah, right. You're right. Just
That's
a
not
memory.
that long ago.
Just a memory ago.
So, Jerry, tell everybody about the idea of that's that crossover we were just talking about.
Exactly.
How rock music and hip hop and rap come together.
That's the whole entire process of everything that the crossover with that. Like me, I'm Brazilian. I'm adopted. I grew up in a totally white neighborhood, like totally
Like white on white.
Yeah, like for real, like for real, like
No capoeira was
like-
there, huh?
Yeah, like I stuck out like a sore thumb, but nobody noticed. That in itself was miraculous. Nobody noticed.
That's America.
Yeah, it was. It was good in that way.
Coast Flocks.
So
West
every
Coast.
band I played in, if I told somebody, "Oh, I'm in a band," they'd be like, "Oh, what do you rap?" That's what they would say to me in every band that I was in, and it made me like resentful against hip hop music because of that. Because I'm like, why?
Don't put me in no box.
You're putting me in a category,
Yeah.
but I did it so well that I just was fighting myself until I just said, "Hey, you know what? Let me incorporate that." But it's always been a part of rock music. Once hip hop came in, like with this, like with Biohazard and Onyx,
Yes.
I would say brought it to a heavier audience. Like you had Run DMC, who was heavy from day one. They're produced by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin produces Glenn Danzig. He produces the Red Hot Chili
Danzig,
Peppers.
Chili Peppers.
You know what I'm saying? He produced Ill Bill. But Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin are the same person. They're salt and pepper. You know what I mean? Mustard and ketchup.
Yeah, in the same praying man's position.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? That Run DMC was heavy. They had heavy guitars, and all these people were heavy.
Yeah.
And I'd say it was always there. I feel like hip hop digressed from its root of being heavy. It like pulled back almost as if to like not want to have any part of rock music in it, where it was created from that. You know what I mean? Weird, almost like it was that time period where it was like not cool to do that.
Yeah.
Where only the rock bands were doing it, and it wasn't cool that the rock bands were doing it.
Right.
It wasn't. Like, I don't believe it was, because then everybody thought they can rap.
Yeah. Which
Everybody-
is how it is now.
Now everybody thinks they can rap. Everybody
Harry.
Well, then what do you? Well, they say
Yeah,
that-
Deborah Harry made it up, I think.
Well, they say that Deborah Harry was the first record to actually ever have a hip hop lyric on it. That was the first record ever.
It wasn't though.
So break it down for us, Kurt.
Well, it's almost impossible to break down because it's an extension of Afrocentricity. And like you said, you're from Brazil, right?
Absolutely.
So then you know that with the countries we come from, we don't have a written culture. Everything is oral.
Exactly.
And it comes from the griots.
Yep.
So the griot, if you're not familiar, is the person who will be assigned to your tribe, who would go into a trance-like state and break down historically where you come from. I really feel a MC is just an extension of the African griot.
Say it again.
Yeah, you know, and then in
The
America,
orator, in other words.
yeah, we
Say
come
it
from an
again.
oral history. We
Yes.
didn't write things down
Yeah.
back in Africa. So then, on top of that, the English took away us having the drum really because they knew we communicated from the drum. The reason
Yes.
why New Orleans has jazz and all this stuff is because the French colonized them. They had a different aesthetic of slavery. They actually had like more of like you could buy your way out, you could do a caste system. That it was not everyone's a slave. You know, they were a little more lenient. So that's why you have this tap dance and jazz, and it's a dynamic culture. You go to New Orleans,
The
and you
whole
see
Creole
it's,
culture.
it's different.
Yes, very
But
different.
then Thomas Jefferson bought it, and the Louisiana Purchase and all that, and then it got co-opted. But that's the reason why New Orleans got that flavor. Whereas the English and the Dutch,
Yeah.
they was different. Okay, they was on some cut the notes off the Spinks. You know, let's do everything so you don't know you come from something great.
Those Europeans.
Yeah, so I digress to say that as
Yeah.
long as you got the drum though,
Yeah.
which is the heartbeat.
Right. Well, and also you talk about the heartbeat, and then you talk about rock music and other music too, the bass.
Yeah, the bass.
That's-
Yes,
and-
that's
and-
why reggae was so big too. We loved hip hop, but reggae was kicking a lot of butt and still does.
Yeah.
Reggae is something
No,
different.
of course.
That
I plan
bass though,
on
It's
doing some
rebellion.
reggae.
It's rebellion.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have some reggae. I have a friend of mine that I went to culinary school, Calvin, and he's sings reggae, and he's absolutely amazing. As a matter of fact, I just posted one of his songs on Facebook the other day. We're gonna have him on soon. We'll do some reggae stuff. I love anything that comes from the soul. Music for me is about what your soul feels at the moment.
Shannon, you know what's so ill? And I know I never said this in a microphone in a public forum before, but I'm gonna say it here today. I listened to the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely. I think that might be one of the first hip hop records ever made.
That right there is my mom's. That and the White Album, my mom's favorite music. So I grew up on the Beatles. So my mom was a maniac about the Beatles. Still is.
I love the Beatles.
Yeah, she went to
The
one
way
of
they
the
looped and
concerts.
cut and pasted and
amazing.
sampled. I was
It's
like, they was
George
doing
Martin.
all that then.
It's
Yeah.
George Martin. George Martin's an insane producer. Like he had like, let's say, such limited tracking and he made like thousands of tracks of Beatles like with nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what made me think that was the first hip hop record, just to the fact that he took a piano and then had him play like 1,000 times. And then I'm going to take
Loop
these
it.
2 bars and then I'm going to loop it, then put it on top of this guitar.
And
And
then I'm
then,
gonna go backwards and then I'm
Right.
gonna turn this and I'm gonna put reverb on it.
yeah, that was ill.
And talking about history, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? We talk about the history of music too, and how music just influences other types of music, and that's the way it works.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about what's his name, who just passed away, invented the 16-track studio and the electric guitar. Now it's my mind just drew a blank.
Until
the
you think of
famous
it, we'll
guitar,
say-
Les Paul.
Oh, Les Paul,
Les
yeah,
Paul.
with the $1 billion
But-
guitars. yeah.
right. And so you're talking about a man who created the 16, he started the 16-track studio, basically invented it, and then invented the electric guitar. And then hence the studio atmosphere, how we were able to separate tracks. And that man had a huge
influence.
And we just lost Les Paul, I think
Yeah.
about a year ago. I got a chance to see him at the Iridium before he passed, got his autograph. What a gentleman. But played all types of music, but gave that ability to us, talk about history of music, gave us that ability of the track studio, which allowed you to play different instruments on a different track.
24 tracks to slide.
Right. Hence how I think a lot of other music, types of music was created because of the multi-track
You
studio.
can be your own band. You got like, it started with like Herbie Hancock. If you look at somebody like that, Herbie Hancock, it could do everything all in one shot. He didn't even need anybody,
Right.
But then you have like the Chick Corea Orchestra, which is like 40 Herbie Hancocks
All at once.
playing all at the same time. Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I remember in 1981 when Prince came out with "I Want to Be Your Lover,"
Yes.
and on that
Yo.
track he played every instrument.
Yeah.
and people were like
Lenny
amazed.
Kravitz plays all the instruments, all of them on his albums.
Yeah. I
You
didn't know
what
that.
mean? No, the band. Do you know how many people do that?
What's the history of Lenny
You don't
Kravitz?
hear
Do you
it?
know who Lenny
don't
Kravitz
hear how
is?
stiff it is?
You know who his mom was? Lenny Kravitz's mom?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
I just
Roxy.
watched it.
Roxy.
From-
Yo.
Anyway,
What's James's last name?
Helen.
James Stewart.
This is a James Stewart moment. Try to give you a shout, James.
Yeah.
Give you a shout.
Yeah,
man.
James in the
Wait.
house.
You got your slate.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
All right.
Yo.
We're in front of the camera. We're behind the camera. Everybody's
Helen
inclusive in the
Willis.
cut.
We
Yeah.
do that.
Helen Willis.
Yes. Yeah. From Jefferson's.
From the Jeffersons.
Yeah, that was his mom.
Amazing.
But amazing musician. And here's another fact, you know.
Cute daughter too.
Yeah, talk about hip hop music. Flavor Flav is a musician. And most people don't know that.
You're
about
right.
him.
I heard him on the piano once, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
snap!"
For real.
Yes.
I love
Yeah,
Flavor
he
Flav.
could tickle.
Yes.
He could tickle
I'm
that.
sorry. I hate to break the news to everybody out there.
He needs to
Musician.
play a clock.
Yes. No, but he got into the music business
I
because of
love
his
Flavor
family.
Flav.
He was a musician. I still tell everybody this, and they're still baffled. I'm like,
What, that Flavor Flav is actually good at something?
yes.
I think he's a genius. He's
So do
amazing.
I.
He
He was a fun
man.
man. You said
Hype
it in
man,
the
hype
beginning,
man.
a hype man.
That's right.
He was the greatest hype man of all time. I believe that.
I don't care where you go today, and you say flavor, and somebody
Flavor
doesn't finish
Flav.
that second word.
So you know what? Let's list the top 5 sidemen of all time. So we got Flavor,
Sidemen.
Ooh,
Who was Busters?
Wait.
Split Star.
Spliff Star,
No, P Diddy.
P
Diddy
Diddy.
was a
Take
hype
man.
that.
He was a hype man.
Take that. Take that.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's 3.
Come on.
Anybody else? Dope
I
hype
don't,
man?
I don't know. It depends. Like, what do you consider like a hype man? Like completely, like, because there's people. That,
Oh, I got one for you.
Who?
Dougie Fresh.
oh,
Because he started
Oh, wow.
as a beatboxer.
And he was
on-
with Slick. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Wow.
Am I
I
wrong?
mean, Tupac was basically a hype man if you look at it like that. You know, Digital Underground.
These are the greatest hype men of all time.
Yes.
You know, he was basically that. I mean, or you got like Sendog from Cypress Hill, who's not a
Oh,
hype
yeah.
man. I wouldn't say he's a hype man, but Be Real does do the lion's share
Yes.
like of the bars.
Yes.
Let's say.
He was just on
And-
Joe Rogan the other
And
day.
that, and I'm not even hating because without Sendog, I believe that Cypress Hill really can't exist.
You know who had a dope hype man? The Lost Boys.
Curtis, bring it up.
Yes.
Curtis.
What was his name? What was Homeboy's name from the Lost? The Leps, Coops, the Beamers, and Freaky Ty.
Freaky Ty.
Yo, he was a Freaky Ty. Yo, he's thinking it is.
He was a good hype man.
Yeah, you need a good hype man.
Wait,
to bring
listen
the
to me.
energy.
And wait, but and I'm going to go back to the rock music too. Originally, the biggest hype man was Ozzy Osbourne for Black Sabbath. He was the friggin', even though he was the lead, he was the hype man. Was the hype man. Come on. Who bites heads off bats?
Yo, James
Yeah.
Brown had a dope hype man. The dude with who brought the cape and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Oh, and how about
yes,
what's his
yes.
name from
Morris Days. Morris Days.
Oh,
Morris Day
yeah,
hype man.
yeah.
Oh,
We got 5. We got 5. We got the 5 dopest hype men of all time.
Love you.
The head, the mirror.
Get the mirror. Jerome.
Jerome.
All right.
Come on.
Yo.
Hype man. The hype man's the shit.
What do you think about Jerome?
Yeah, Jerome was definitely one of the earlier hype men. Like, I mean,
I just absolutely love the idea of what music does to people. And that's why I really truly have a love for hip hop in my heart. Of course, I'm on the both spectrums. I love music just in general. But the idea of what hip hop meant to me and what grunge rock music meant to me growing up, because that was my time periods when I seen the music world change.
So you got
know?
Seattle on us too, huh?
Yeah.
I loved the idea of the grunge because
I talk about all that. Like I talk about all of that in my songs. Like I mentioned, I go through music and just life, 90s, 70s, 80s. Wrestling is in every song, every single song, every song, every 16. If I spit 4 bars, there will be a bar of wrestling included. No matter, even if it's that,
Ric
you know
Flair.
what I mean, I do all of that,
Ernie
and
Shavers.
that's what's crazy. But it
JYD.
all makes sense. It's just and I talk about all of these things, and
But that's
some
the
people-
culture.
The people
So you got
miss
some Bruno
the
Sammartino
culture.
in you, brother?
Yo, people
Man,
just-
somebody posted a picture of him and
miss
Andre
out.
and the Giant the other day.
misses out. Everybody misses out because the culture began totally cross-contaminated.
Yeah.
and it
think about wrestling. Coco Beware was the first hip hop wrestler. When you think about it, and you had like Scotty Too Hotty. You had all these hip hop people in wrestling. It was crazy.
yeah.
And don't forget the influence of karate movies.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think
Yeah.
that really.
Come on.
What did Bruce Lee have to do with this?
Wait, but what do we have to say it again? Wu Tang. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a point.
Come
And if you're a breakdancer, you didn't leave a karate flick not thinking about I'm jacking that
Guilty.
move.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Your boy right here was at the big breakdance contest in the Roxy. That's all I gotta say.
Ooh.
Your boy was electric.
I was
boogie.
hoping home was going to run the
Boogie.
bag and be like, I got footage. You won't believe this is my short tank.
I'm telling you, I'd love the idea. Like I said before, it really gave people of our generation an idea that we had our own music, and that's why I used the idea of the hip hop, and then hip hop first, and then the grunge music really had a big influence on me because I loved both of them. And then when you started getting groups like Rage Against the Machine,
very, very important, very important. Like if we could even steer away from that, which Rage Against the Machine to me is where Public Enemy left off, like where they ended, Rage Against the Machine came, because before Public Enemy, you had The Clash.
Yeah.
I was in a group like that, actually, believe it or not. I was in a group called Sextet Offensive.
No
Remember
way.
with Blaze?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was the only black dude, but we was getting it in.
Yes.
I loved it.
I'm very curious. You'll tell us about that one, I hope.
But yeah, that's how that's the progression. And
Yep.
now it should be back to hip hop again in the progression of the same consciousness. And that's where I come in. Because now the turnaround comes, and that's it. Because that's where it's at now. It's back to being the punk rock influence hip hop that was, but sounds like now, but not like now.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics.
Exactly.
Back to the basics.
Exactly.
I like the idea of that. I'm always interested in the idea of what music does to people and how it brings us together, more than it doesn't. And that's the message I always love about music, is that it does kind of bring us together rather than separate us. We have an idea.
It should. That's the ideal. That's the whole goal, is to go out and like fuck girls and drink booze and smoke weed and sniff cocaine and do whatever the fuck you want
Is
to
that
do.
all at once, or
Depends what night it is, Shannon. I mean, if it's like Wednesday, yeah, but if it's like Monday, no.
But it's also a higher form of communication. I think
a
that
big part
when
of
you're
communication.
articulating and expressing and emoting your emotions, and
Yeah.
you know what's working when you do a song and the whole world was like, yeah, I get it.
Yep.
And that's a hit. A hit is really everyone saying, I get it.
I get it. Yep. When you talk about the lifestyle, what Jerry was just mentioning about 8 balls and hookers and all, that's
That's old.
no idea what that's about. But the idea of the lifestyle of a famous hip hop artist, the depiction of it, I think, is kind of skewed.
Well, it's like that with anybody. Like you look at anybody with any kind of status, it's going to get warped out of control. You know what I mean? Everybody goes to the bathroom. Everybody goes to the grocery store. Everybody watches television and binge watches Netflix and fights with their girlfriend and gets cheated on
And has
and,
problems with their kids,
what I mean?
and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Life happens, and just because the artist may have that simple fact that people may think that the portrayal is real, you really have to dive inside somebody's life, not their lifestyle. That's the truth. A lot of people tend to have this lifestyle image that they have for a lot of big name hip hop artists now. And I go, well, you can't always, judge a book by its cover. That's the number one thing. And the same thing with big time rock and roll stars, right? Of course, everybody was out on tour, and what happens on tour, we know stays on tour. But
hopefully. I mean, come on.
But the idea of these people, I mean, and Ozzy Osbourne was a big example of that in the beginning. Even Rev Run, when he had his shows, right, showing everybody, this is my family. This is Snoop Dogg. This is my family. These are my kids. I'm proud of them. This is my music. These two guys, they do what they need to do to survive, but they also do for their families. They also do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's a misconception a lot about just people in the music business that are famous. And I think the bad idea of people always labeling because they watch videos, and you shouldn't, because when you think of even like NWA, when they first came out, they were like 3 or 4 guys from the hood who were like, yo, I want to get out of here. and music is going to be my way.
Yep.
So Shannon, I got a question for you. Let's say you couldn't be super duper dope, crazy on high power barbecue king of all he puts on the grill, Shannon Ambrosio, but you could be anybody else for a week.
Oh,
Any recording artist, rap star, hip hop star, grunge artist for a week, you would be who?
Elvis.
I knew he's gonna say that. His eyes was like lemonade.
I was listen to me.
to tell us why.
I have a serious love connection with
You and my
the
wife.
parallels of Elvis, because again, like my thing always behind music is this idea of what has that artist or what is that style of music, how has it changed our lives globally, not just the idea of one type of music, because there's plenty of people in the music business that we all know that are in different types of music that are very influential, but have they changed the world? And Elvis to me he's changed the world.
I think if he would have got to have played in West Side Story, we would have saw Elvis' trajectory go even higher, but the Colonel held him back. Because just imagine him and Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, amazing. But what he did, that crossover of he's from Tennessee. So he took the gospel and he took the blues and he adopted them and made rock and roll music.
And he had steps.
Yeah.
He had the steps helped him. And he looked good.
Yes.
You know?
But the idea is that he did what he did from his soul. And that's the only reason his music changed history. And that's what I love. And that's why I say to you, when I think about music, I think about it in that dynamic. To me, it has to change the world.
Right. Elvis got criticized for singing. Some said he sung too black.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Elvis was phenomenal.
He's just, I think, an all-around great musician.
Yep.
He loved his craft.
It's music.
The more I look at Shannon now, I'm starting to see Elvis-like qualities in him now. I don't know. It's like
Don't even do that to me.
I'm starting to see it.
I will go. I should. Well,
I'm seeing his hips are swiveling.
wait a minute.
His leg is shaking right now.
But wait, let me tell you a story. I got. But wait. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Y'all are killing me.
I got a funny story though.
Oh my God.
I got a funny story. I went to Graceland when I was shooting my show. I got the opportunity to shoot 2 shows in Tennessee. And I went to Graceland with my brother.
Big Rich.
And big shout out to Big Rich.
Shout out to Big Rich.
Big Rich in the house.
I thought you were going to be here,
Yeah,
bro.
he will. I know. I'm upset too.
I thought you were going to be here.
Next weekend, you'll have to come back.
I will.
You should.
I will.
But I went to Graceland with my brother, and I'm going to admit this on YouTube now, okay? So this is how it went. We get to Graceland. It's me and Big Rich. And you go and you're on this bus. You take a little short ride on a short bus. No white helmet, no yellow. So I'm good. I just stopped a few times. But we get to the front of the house, and you pull up, and they hand you earphones and an iPad. Just a little mini iPad, and you wear it around your neck like this. And they say, okay, you're going to go on a tour through Elvis, put on your earphones and your iPad. And as soon as you walk in, it'll prompt you, just hit the play button. And then you walk inside the door, and it's the estate. It's Elvis's house. He lived there. Oh, she gets emotional. So anyway, I get the iPad and I put the earphones and boom, and I walk in, and everybody in. And I'm like the second or third person to walk in. And there's like 20 people behind me. And I walk in. Then I hit the button, and Elvis starts talking. When I tell you, I lost my shit. The chills went up my spine, and I'm telling you, it took me but 3 seconds to grab myself together to hold on, to figure, listening to this man and being in his house where this man had children and spent his life and probably made some of the most amazing music to date. And then I heard his voice, and it sounded like he was talking right to me.
Wow, it was real.
No,
it was really real. Huh?
Crazy.
Like Elvis?
Yeah,
Dad?
I got nervous for a minute.
Hey,
But wait, it gets better. I want you to know, I'm an Adidas freak, right? And that's why I'm glad, like, we're doing the hip hop and you had the cassettes on. I got all my Adidas shit. And you know what Adidas stands for?
All day I dream about sex.
No, Shannon.
Shannon.
All day I dream about Shannon.
That's branding.
All day I dream about Shannon. Adidas.
Adidas.
But I bought blue suede shell top Adidas to wear there that day.
Wow.
No, freak.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
Elvis. That's all I gotta say. Big influence for me as far as music goes. I love his timeline. His timeline of music and what he did for music. To me, that's the most impressive. And that's what music means to me, is if music changes the world, it means everything to me.
He had his own mafia. I mean, he was dope.
Yeah. And I loved his his thing was TBC with a lightning bolt. That was his brand. That was his logo. Was TBC with a lightning bolt, and it stood for
Take care of business.
taking care of business in a flash.
Okay.
And that was his thing. He was like, anybody could take care of business, but you can take care of business right now. That was his shit. And that's, to me, means a lot about the music business. And what hip hop means is that, yo, if you can't take care of business right now, spit bars, play music, produce music, and do it right on the spot now, you ain't shit. You a bullshitter. Point blank. Anybody could rhyme over somebody else. Anybody could loop songs. Anybody can put that thing, that voiceover thing on their voice. But are you sending a message? That to me is what hip hop and music means. Do you send a message? Right?
Hey, that was heavy, man.
was
So
heavy.
we learned a lot about who the godfather of this podcast is. I just learned a lot. And I'm just curious now. A week. You could be someone for a week. Who are you going to be, dogs? Yo, he's giving it serious thought, people.
It's crazy.
I see the smoke coming.
It's coming.
Marvin, you on deck?
I'm on deck.
If I could be anybody,
Yeah, just
You know
for a
what?
week, though. You get to go back to your life.
Being that I'm a producer and I'm write music from my heart, I would like to be Babyface.
Oh.
Babyface. I would like to have his mind, his thinking for all the major songs that he wrote for all the major individuals, you know, Tony Braxton and, you know, After Seven. I want to know how he thinks, you know, besides his money.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's always the bonus.
when a person writes those type of songs, definitely come from experience, but you have to be lifted to another level. You're on a different plateau. You're not just here. You're over there, and you're really absorbing stuff, because he didn't just write one hit.
Right.
He didn't write two hits. I mean, Babyface was writing for everybody, song hit after hit after hit, and all of his songs had meaning. All of his songs had meaning.
Agreed 100%.
Right. So I would like to be
Babyface.
his first name, but Edmund is his last name.
Yeah.
Didn't he,
Babyface
didn't he
Edmund.
just...
Brother just died from Take
Yes,
Seven.
his brother just passed away.
Because I know he was in the news recently, Babyface.
Could have been for his brother who passed.
Yeah.
Now, for me, it wouldn't be an artist. If I could be someone for a week, I would just go Cocoa Pops. I'd be Malcolm.
X.
Yeah.
Really?
Yo, to me, he's my favorite individual ever.
Yep.
Just how articulate, how smart, how world changing he was. Just think,
Absolutely.
he was back in the 60s, but he can go to any country and be treated like a world leader.
Absolutely.
He was meeting with African leaders then. You know,
Absolutely.
after he went to Mecca and he changed his philosophy and he became more inclusive of everybody on the planet, that's when he became a real threat. And I just think, wow, how can a man who was an ex-pimp and thief and this and that become so smart, so articulate? I used to just get a kick out of seeing him debate people at Harvard and kick their ass. And then he would just be like, he'd be on talk shows and he'd just be so calm and at ease with it,
chill.
but had a
Like,
command of the
totally chill.
language. So
Totally
you know?
chill, smoking cigarettes, like just like
And,
what?
and you know what's funny, going back to that whole thing of hip hop and lyricists, you're talking about a man could speak eloquently, very well, a very good orator, very good.
yeah, so
And when we talk about orators and people speaking, I mean, to me, that's what the voice of hip hop is. The voice of hip hop is the people. The voice of hip hop is movement.
I know who I would be.
100%.
I know who I would be. William Shakespeare.
Ooh.
That's who I would be.
Yo, he just fucked up the whole game.
Yeah.
I would be William Shakespeare the week he wrote Julius Caesar.
Ouch.
And that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be a rap.
That would be.
Yo,
Enough
no,
said.
that would be a rap.
But talk to me. What kind of dude must he have been? Because the things he came up with to be or not to be,
Yeah.
that is the question.
Well, that's
Words.
always the question.
Words.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
And he made up his own slang.
Yeah.
Made up his own
Yes.
slang. Some of those words don't mean anything. It's just called Shakespearean English. Shakespearean English.
right.
You understand? He
Well,
made up
that's-
his own language.
That's a lot like hip hop. That's
It's
all
exactly
I have to
that. So, you know, the world has always had their, you know, the poet, you know, it's just a matter of what side of the gun you're on at that point now.
How eclectic is this conversation? We got Elvis,
No.
Shakespeare, Babyface, and Malcolm
But
X.
listen to me, folks, out there, and everybody knows. You watch this podcast, you know what the name of the podcast is. It is the Everything and Nothing podcast. So I tell everybody this: conversations have to have a lead-in. We want to know what the heck we're doing here. That's first of all. This is a show about rap music and hip hop and history. Rap and hip hop history, where the history of hip hop comes from, and how many cultures make up hip hop, which people don't realize. We have a great panel of guests here on today. First of all, I love the fact that Marvin is with us and joined us at last minute because of his music background, and that's why I said, you know, when we talk about music and that rap music in particular, is because it has so much music behind it, rather than just the message, not just the hip hop artist. It's the music that sets the tone for hip hop. That to me is the history of hip hop, music in the background, and why people rap about what they rap. That's why Jerry's here. Jerry, tell us about what you're doing and tell us about your group.
Okay, Dead Crew. Dead Crew, basically, he asked me before like how long I'm doing this right now. Music I've been doing since day one. This right here, it's about 3 years. The actual Dead Crew project has only been a year and a half, like maybe about a year and a half. And the crazy part about the whole thing with that is I was working with Paulie Nugent from the Lords of Brooklyn, and we had like this little thing. It was called Brooklyn Murder Club, and we put out like a little tape, you know what I'm saying? And nobody really paid attention. They slept on it. They slept on it real hard, like for real. Like I was like, ooh. I was like, this shit is ill. Like, what the fuck? Like for real. Like
I've been there.
I didn't even know. I like I was at a loss for words.
Yeah, narcolepsy.
You know, and then I was like, all right, let me try again. So I put, you know, a couple of people. I was like, oh, ow, this is whack. Like, what the fuck? Like for real. Like I played a couple of shows, like good responses, and I was like, so I don't understand what's going on. Then my boy Tony, he was like, you know, I want to do a thing with you, you know. And I was like, all right. So, you know, we went in, like I had some songs and stuff, and we're in the process of recording with my boy Diggy, who is now like my producer and like the A&R rep to my label, right? That we went in there to record with him. I was like, yo, how much is it to record? I want you to do it, you know? And he was like, okay, cool. We went in there and we recorded the album. And
How many songs?
The first one was 6.
6 songs.
It was 6.
Like an EP.
Right? It was 6. It was about 6 songs. Was it 8? 6 songs. Whatever. It was an EP.
It's between 6 and 8.
It was an EP.
Folks, we lost fucking count here.
I'll tell you right now.
Hold on.
I'll tell you right now. Because this is very exciting for the way that this went down, because, you know.
And you got to check it out. Well, where can we find your songs?
Spotify. Anywhere. Anywhere where anything is sold. Spotify,
iTunes,
Apple Music,
Apple Music.
everything.
That's what's up right there.
Oh, you have no service in here at all.
No, I have service. You just not hooked up to it.
You don't.
Probably.
You don't. Oh, here we go.
So
There we go.
I got service here.
Pay your bills.
He got service and he got the dope food service because we had that earlier.
You can hit the slate.
7.
I can't hit.
See, it was dead in the middle. So it's 7. So we went and we did the songs. And basically got signed to the label on the spot.
Wow.
What's the name of the label?
Ill Rock Records.
Ill Rock Records, folks.
Ill Rock
That's a nice name. I like that.
Ill
I like
Rock
Diggie's
Records.
name and I like Ill Rock.
Ill Rock Records. And actually it's founded by Danny Diablo, who basically comes from the New York hardcore
Yes.
background from bands like Crown of Thorns,
Yes.
Scarhead, and he does hip hop under Danny Diablo right now. So he founded the label. We just got put on like right there just from the content of the album. He was so blown away by the professionalism that this was presented to him and how basically it was just drop and go.
How big a niche or niche is that segment of music these days? At one time, it was the trending, leading thing, in particular from New York when the Dolls and all those groups were saying back in the days. And then it kind of went away. Then hip hop sort of took a piece of it, the Onyx and all that. Then it went away.
Well, you had. I think the beginnings of all that was the Beastie Boys too. They used a lot of their
Absolutely.
they
They were a punk rock
rock
band.
group
They were a
before
punk rock
they
group.
turned into a hip hop group.
That's exactly what
So
it
they
is.
had a lot of punk rock influence, using a lot of rock and roll music and the punk rock
Yep.
scene in the background.
Exactly.
And I think, excuse me, we lost a lot of that. And that's what really drew me to what you were doing with the Dead Crew, because I was like, all right, there still is a spot for that, right? That crossover, what you were talking about before, is that crossover with the rock music and the hip hop. And the fact that Jerry X is doing it with the Dead Crew, to me, was like when I started listening to the stuff, I'm like, this brings back a part of me where it, like you said, with the Onyx in that whole flavor, where it's like
that's what people compare us to. They compare us to that, but we're way more lyrical than that. Way more lyrical than that. It's just
more
we're all hooks. We're all hooks. The whole thing is hooks. All
So no
day.
verses, just all hooks?
Oh, there's verses. The verses are gonna melt your face. The verses will melt your face.
Fire.
all right. So
Melt
now
your
I
face.
have,
I'm not
I
even
have,
worried about it.
I have a question too. So I like to run this around once in a while. What's the last thing you listen to that's on your phone or on your iPad or your whatever?
Me?
Like when you look in somebody's music collection, it really does say a
Read
lot.
that. What's the last thing I listened to?
Oh wow. Sex Machine.
Ooh.
No, that's
James Brown?
no.
The Fat
Fat
Boys.
Boys.
Oh, that is so you're just eclectic.
To me,
You're enigma.
but that's what happens, right? So the influence of music comes from us in a lot of different directions, right? So Marvin, what's the last thing you listened to?
The last thing I listened to was Sly and the Family Stone,
Oh, that's what's up.
Everyday People.
That's what's up.
And that's when I spoke earlier about Larry Graham and the whole revolution. I believe like Sly was like the earlier version of Prince, because he was kind of radical, but his music was more hardcore, rebellious rock.
Yep.
They had a sound that was like before their time. They had so many different songs and stuff. I thought that band did a lot of amazing things, and I just, something stimulated. We were having a conversation at work, and it went into Sly, and then it went into Larry Graham, and in their combination, those duos and stuff, and their writings for different people.
Right.
A more musical Gil Scott Heron with more musicality.
Yes.
Yeah. All right,
Yes.
Curtis. What are you listening to?
This is so ill, but because we were talking about it as we were dining on your amazing grub, I watched this documentary on Bobby DeBarge last night.
Oh wow.
And so then I just went on the DeBarge Fest.
Yeah.
And just how beautiful their music was. The harmonies, the lyrics, the execution. It's like, I'm like, wow, you don't hear beautiful music like that. And if you ever watch this documentary about him, it ends with a song that he wrote that I guess never got published. It's just him on a piano. And I'm like, Marvin, you would love it. because it got like bridges
Oh,
and
wow.
crescendos,
Yes.
and the song actually has an arc to it.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, this is beautiful. Like it almost brought a tear to my eye saying, we got robbed of some beautiful stuff that this guy had in his soul.
Yeah. All right. So I know this is a question a lot of people have. And we're all here from the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
So our love is for East Coast rap. I mean, mine too. But I
love the West too.
I love the West Coast too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big, and I hate to say it, I'm a big Tupac fan.
I'm all about West Coast. The way I'd say I rhyme
And Dr.
more
Dre,
West Coast.
and yes, Ice
I
Cube.
rhyme more
You
West
remember
Coast.
the
have
than
cat
I
from
do.
Seattle? What's this dude? I can't think of his name. He
Well-
owns all the. We'll talk later.
Jerry has this. Believe it or not, Jerry's flow to me reminds me a lot of like Ice Cube. He has this idea of his message needs to be delivered, and he's got a powerful, powerful message. He has a powerful voice. It reminds me a lot of that idea of he's letting you know that his power is his freedom of speech. His power is like,
Pen is mightier than the sword.
yeah, I'm giving you, I'm
Pen is
telling
mightier
you what
than
I
the sword.
feel, and that's to me that was that message that Ice Cube delivered. You know, straight out of comp, like he's like, yo, I'm here. You're gonna hear me. You're gonna know where I'm from, and you're gonna know what I've been through. That's what I like about Jerry's music. You know, he was like that too in the hardcore scene, and I remember. But believe it or not, I'm hooked a little bit on a little R&B and some soul right now, and I'm listening to an English cat named Alan Stone, who's absolutely amazing, and he has this very old Motown-y kind of vibe, and I absolutely love his music. And you should get a chance and listen to him. But my favorite new hip hop artist, and I'm giving this guy a big shout out, is my heart is living with this guy right now. And his name is Infidelix.
Cool
and
name.
he's YouTube sensation. And he's from Texas. And he basically, his love for hip hop music sent him out on the road. And because nobody believed in him, you know, the whole message, everybody. And he basically took an amp, a car battery, and a microphone, and whatever money he had in his pocket, and is now traveling the entire world spreading his hip hop message on the street.
Wow.
And lives basically on the street and hostels wherever he can. But he is a huge hip hop sensation all over the world now. He's in Croatia now.
Wow.
He's his views on YouTube for the one scene where he a girl from Germany came and sang with him in the subway station is at like a couple million views, and he's a rapper, and to me his message really, you know, weighs heavy on my heart now. So I follow him on YouTube, and everybody out there get a chance, look up Infidelix, check out my boy Jerry X too on he's got a lot of great music out there. The Dead Crew is doing some cool new stuff. Reminds me a lot of a cross between Ice Cube and the Beastie Boys because of the music in the background. I'm very curious now as to you, Kurtis, what you think about hip hop music now as opposed to the history of hip hop music and where it's come and why it doesn't linger around here much anymore. Why doesn't it come around back to us in the Bronx here and Brooklyn and Queens? Why do you think rap music is living in other areas now?
Well, if you're like a farmer, you know, if you farm a piece of land, you have to rotate the crop. Like if you're growing cotton and you're doing it for X amount of years, you got to sort of like stop and grow like broccoli or grow something else to put other nutrients in the soil to help it be vital. Everyone, even though hip hop was created in the Bronx and it comes from New York, everyone and their mother took a little piece of us, but they never brought it back. And they never educated the population of what we really created. And so there's a confusion between rap culture and hip hop culture. Whereas when I was a kid, if you went to Jamaica, people dressed like they were Jamaicans. If you went to like Denver, you knew you wasn't in New York. You ain't seen Yankee caps and everyone got Timbs. And now everyone took our swagger. Everyone took the essence of us. True. Right. But no one ever gave back. And so you have that phenomenon. And then at one point, we stopped doing us.
Right.
You know, at one point, to be a dope MC in New York City, you first had to be the best on your block.
Yeah.
It'd be like, yo, Curtis, fall back. You know Johnny's better than you. Johnny represents this neighborhood. Then all of a sudden, it stopped being who was the best on the block. It became an industry. Like, yo, this producer can hook you up. And all right, then it became that. Then it became labels was like, if you rhyme about this, that, and the third, we'll give you a deal. And so the whole game changed. Whereas where I come from and the way I write, I only write for other MCs. I'm not even writing for you or you or you. I'm writing for people who are MCs too. So and that's how it used to be. Steel sharpens steel.
Right.
You know, I'm not writing to go platinum.
Right.
If you're writing to go platinum, or I'm writing to have the girls and this and that, that's one thing. But if you're writing to make other MCs go, ooh, you know, and to this day, like we have a crew we call Past the 40. We're all past 40, but we rhyme for each other.
Right.
Seville, Joey Mecca. It's like we get together, we just with a 40, you know, some bread, some cold cuts.
Chicken wings.
We don't need a big studio, you know, and we'll be like, all right, Kurt, you've been writing, you know, and I'll be like, all right, can I drop some bars?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna drop some bars. This is for MCs.
Yeah.
Balance sheets, build on satin sheets, chill on chamber street, fill in bamboo sheets, honey spread cheeks, money spread sheets, exhale programs, exhale dro, man. I got my NASCAR off the NASDAQ. I'm in Nassau, banging Joey Mecca tracks. I'm bringing Boski back and Reggie Lewis too. I'm bringing milking back. Maybe we milking you. First I pour this Henny back and then I do turn up the track. I get my swagger back. The rhyme and wolf of rap is back and rockin' beat. Stock is me, commodity monopoly. In my bones, in my homes, in my bank. Dow Jones, down homes, down state. Interest like the interest rate. This robber Baron bonds. Bought the blue McLaren weight. Coca leaf murderers, corporate mergers, money transfers. First for his and hers. Word. And then my boy would be like, yo, that was dope, but I got something for your ass.
Yeah.
You know, and then we just go around the room in a cipher.
That's exactly
that's the MCs.
That's exactly what it should be, right? So the idea is taking what your thoughts are and putting them out there for everybody to hear. I love the fact that happens still. To me, that means everything about music. And like I said, the voice of the music, you know, where it brings you when you listen to it. You know, where it comes from, your culture, your background, your neighborhood, you know, and that's why I always use that cross reference into all the other genres of music, right? Because we all did those things. Like even when I go back to the idea of garage bands, you know, like when you think about it, they're in their garages and talking about being in high school and the hot chick and not being able to date her. And so the whole idea of where music comes from is that pain that you're living at that time. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's where the heart and soul comes from music, and hip hop especially, because of the way the culture was behind it. And then all of a sudden now it had a voice.
And when you hear that,
yeah.
Oh man, you don't need no fancy studio. You know?
All right. So here we go, right? Biggest influence in hip hop, as far as I'm concerned, is gone two ways, right? First of all, was the Sugar Hill Gang. First hip hop song. Come on, this is it. Like this song comes out in what was it, late 70s, middle 70s, right?
79.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Technically, the Crown Heights Affair had a song before them.
Before that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, first song that makes press.
Yeah, that was the first one to get radio.
There you go.
Yes,
big radio play.
Yes. And
So
that was
that's
also put together in a lab. It wasn't like, hey, we all got together and wrote a song. That was put together in a lab. That
Shout
was,
to Grandmaster Kaz for writing some of those.
Yes.
For writing,
Yes.
you know.
Say this and we'll be good. Okay.
Right.
However, it was derived from an R&B song.
There you go.
Absolutely.
But you see what I mean? The influences of the music, where it comes from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the idea, I think about that wholeheartedly because I remember as a kid in grade school, right, was the Sugar Hill rap song came out and it was on vinyl. And it was like, holy, like it shook the world. Like everybody was like, what the heck? And everybody had to have it. And it was played everywhere. And what the funny thing about it is that everybody listened to it because the music, even the music in the background in the white culture was like, I know that. Maybe the lyrics don't sound like a song, but the music in the background, I feel it. I know what that is. And it kind of embraced us as a whole, I think. Again, what do you think?
I didn't care until Rakim.
Oh,
at all. I didn't care. As soon as I heard Rakim, I went, wow.
Yeah.
What is this?
It has to do. Yes, it has to do with
what is this?
When the message hits you. I think that's a big part of it too, right? I mean, not everybody was at the first go round. It never works.
I just almost cried.
Yeah.
I actually felt that moment the first time I heard that, and I went, wow.
Rakim.
Where were you?
Wow. I was at my cousin's house, actually. I was at my cousin's house in Bensonhurst when I heard that for the first time. And I was like, yo, what is that?
Yeah.
It's like the first time I heard Motley Crue.
Yes.
Let me not even lie.
Yes.
First time I heard Motley Crue changed my entire life. My entire life.
Same here.
Done. That was it.
First time I heard Metallica.
That was different.
That was the first time I heard Metallica. Was
different.
when music became apparent to me, where it was like
Metallica is the greatest rock band of all time.
somebody feels something that is so powerful that they need to let it out. That to me was what Metallica meant to music. I was like, wow, these guys really love their music. Like you could feel it. You could feel it when they got on stage. To me, it was the same thing when I turned on Soul Train on Sundays. I watched it and watched everybody's soul become different. Dancing was apparent. The idea that the music moves through them was apparent. And I got that in those times in my life. I got it when I heard Sugar Hill Gang when I was a kid. I was in grade school. And then I got it again when I heard Metallica and then the grunge music. And then, you know, of course, I've listened to hip hop my entire life since I am in grade school.
Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah. So this is how we're going to get this going. Only one favorite hip hop artist. Only one.
I don't think he's gonna play. You gonna play? Only one. You gonna play?
Favorite hip hop artist?
Yeah.
Me.
All right. No.
Well done.
That to me is exactly
done. Well done.
Well done. That's what's up right there. Go ahead, Marvin.
I got to say Biggie.
Yes.
Biggie. He made a big dent in the music industry.
No, huge dent.
Amazing.
Huge dent.
Like when I go on road trips and it's my turn, like in our family on road trips, whoever's driving gets to control the music.
Yeah.
So when it's my turn, I always go to Jay-Z.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I always, because Jay-Z got enough material to get me
First of all,
from New York to Georgia.
Two famous Brooklyn boys. That's all I have. I don't want to sound so
In the
biased.
house.
But
3.
yeah. Yes. And Jerry. And
Jerry,
yes.
Break it down, Jay. Break it down.
All three from Brooklyn, and
Yes.
I call myself the last son of.
Yeah.
Because nobody's got it like me right now.
The last son of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's my album title right there.
Yes. Yes. My favorite is Rakim. Is my favorite.
Yeah.
Is my favorite. He has a message in his music to me that was so easy to understand. He didn't make it difficult. He made it easy to understand why he was doing what he was doing. There's no two other ways about it.
He has the best voice.
Yeah. He has the smoothest voice I've ever heard in hip hop. It never sounds strained.
No.
And it never sounds pitched, and it never sounds overemphasized. And that's what I loved about Rakim. He had a very kind of easy keel, easy way of, you know, moving into his lyrics constantly. And I really enjoyed that a lot.
And he could go fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fast.
And he had that 5%er knowledge.
Yeah. Well, that was his underlying message.
Yeah.
His underlying message.
The seventh let, all
Yes.
that.
Yes. He didn't sugarcoat it either. Like if you understood what his lyrics were about, you knew what he was talking about. And he was talking about change constantly. And you better listen because he knew what he was talking about. Hence where hip hop music is today. That's all I have to say. And, you know, I do this closing thing at the end of all my podcasts, and we will go through this. I just, Jerry, I want you to tell everybody out there who you are. I would love for you to maybe give us a little, if you want, on the mic, but tell everybody who you are, what the name of the group is, and where they can find your music.
Well, I'm Jerry X. The name of the group is Dead Crew. Follow us, Dead Crew Ill Rock on Instagram. You can get our albums right here. Here we go. We got Heritage Training Camp Chapter 1. That was the first album. Heathens, Tyrants, and Criminals Chapter 2. Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. Let me not press that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing actually.
There you go. Plug one of the locations.
Yeah, we're actually playing Black Dawn 51 in Queens on July 12th. It's a Friday night. And we're playing Niagara in the city on July 14th. The hardcore matinee. We play with hardcore bands.
That's dope.
That's a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon.
We go
on at 4 o'clock. We go on at 4 o'clock.
That's some bullshit, Jerry. Change the date right now.
We go on at 4 o'clock, and yeah, I mean, people are loving us right now. People are loving us right now, man. They're really,
y'all gonna kill Niagara.
I'm excited.
They're really loving us right now.
Marvin, and where can they find you on social media? Tell everybody.
Dead Crew will rock.
Yeah.
Oh, follow me on official Fuck Jerry X.
Yep. That's on Instagram, right?
On Instagram.
And
Always
Facebook?
on Instagram. Facebook also. Dead Crew. Just Dead Crew. Put in Dead Crew. All caps.
Yep. Dead Crew. Follow them guys. Listen to the music, man. They got a message for you.
Yeah, man.
Marvin, tell everybody where can they find you? On social media? You got Facebook, Instagram?
I'm on social media. You can find me at Marvin Rose Facebook. Currently, I haven't been involved in the music business for some.
But that's all right. We're gonna change that.
Okay,
that's what's up right there.
Okay,
Dead Crew remix.
Yeah,
okay.
well, you never know. Like my thing is,
maybe.
First of all, the music business has a very unique way of letting people in who are musical. So since you have the production background, and I know you say that you left it for a while because you had things you had to take care of, but that's your love and your passion.
Yes,
you could tell.
I have always
and you could tell just from the way you speak about music. You need to be doing it somehow, some way.
He's a humble guy though too. He's
and
like
I'm
the assistant treasurer at Chase Bay.
Yeah, I know. Like, right?
He wanted to do something else, something a little different.
He wanted to do something a little different, like be rich.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Which is good.
Hopefully, do something different, like eat.
Yeah.
and not through college.
That's like that's a difficult part of being a musician. It's like, oh shit, sometimes I got to eat. Let me go get a fucking job.
Oh man.
Holy shit. But yes, they can find you on Facebook at Marvin
Rose, ROSC.
And why don't you have any music on your Facebook page? Do you?
I
do not.
Do not.
Well, you should. That's all I have to say.
I agree.
Here's the one piece of information I give to everybody every time they come on here is that if you are not using social media as your branding tool and marketing tool and whatever else you need to do and whatever else you want people to hear or know about you, that's what you need to be doing. It's very important for people to understand what a musical talent you are and where it is and how they can hear it. It's very, very important. Don't discount us. We need that. It's important. Extremely. Kurtis, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yo, you're going to be able to find me on my show, Kurtis Sherrod's Top 3.
That's what's
and
up.
I can't wait to have an upcoming show where I got my man Jerry X featuring the Dead Crew.
Yes.
Co-hosted by the man, the myth, the legend, Shannon.
Yes.
Okay.
I will definitely come on.
We're gonna plot it out, pick a time when you got product coming out, whatever, and we're gonna do that. I think that'd be a great episode.
Also, and you're on Instagram.
You can catch me at Rapicon H2C2, Rapicon, DJCon. I'm known for doing something called the DJCon. That's why I do want to get your product.
Great thing.
And DJCon is like the longest unending cipher of DJs in history. The biggest one I had is 125 DJs.
Yes. Oh,
wow.
And that was recently.
At the Apollo Theater. We killed it.
Big shout out to Apollo Theater.
I do Rapathon. Rapathon is the longest unending cipher of MCs. The longest one I had was for 28 hours straight with 150 MCs.
Wow.
And so with that being said, I'm definitely going to keep you on my radar because, I can see you doing what you do.
Definitely. Yes.
That's what's up right there. Now, you know how it goes here. This is the Everything and Nothing podcast where we start with something or everything and we end with this idea. Now we know something about every individual here at this table. We know what hip hop means to everybody here. We know how music has influenced all of our lives. I don't care who you are, where you're from, where you walk, talk, who you pray to, who you don't pray to. Once music comes on, all of our hearts and souls open. It's no other way. It's a great way for us to express ourselves. It's a great way for us to feel about things. And I'm hoping that Jerry will kick us a few bars or play us some music real quick so we can hear some of his amazing new work.
We could do that.
That would be fantastic.
All right. So, I mean, We just came out with a new album. I mean, there's so many different things that are on here that like mean a lot. Like basically the way I write, you know, you got it things just mean like a lot. But the one that means the most to me is the song. All the titles, first of all, are wrestling tag teams.
Tell everybody. Wrestling tag teams.
The first song is T Generation X. So the song is Ooh So Crazy, Authors of Pain, Devilish, Brothers of Destruction, American Dream, Dusty Roads, Crime Time,
Oh, wow.
Evolution, Dead Crew 316, It's a New Day, Yes It Is, and Too Sweet, Too Late. That's the names of all the songs. All tag teams except for Devilish,
Oh, wow.
which is just the whole 90s Diva Squad. So
That's
you know what I'm
fantastic.
saying?
And I love the idea of the what the culture of wrestling how it has influenced you over the years. That to me is just
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely. I have the tattoo on my throat. Everybody's, why is that? When I was a kid, the only way I made friends was whoever liked wrestling. So like wrestling gave me my voice to begin with.
Wow.
So, you know, I have to give it back to them no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
You know, like the rock culture influenced me and helped me to eat. So I give it up to them when I do my thing now.
So what are we gonna hear?
All right. Well, the thing I'm saying is the song "Ooh So Crazy." I'm who you'd rather be. Rapidly turn victory to tragedy. Savagely eat them bars and won't even count the calories. Sit back and watch you count the casualties that supposedly had the mental faculties to tackle me. Lord of mercy. Shout out to my brother North Jersey. Shout out to my brother standing now. Shout out to my brothers in Brooklyn. To the brothers in BX and Queenside. Death choke, son, I'm a wheel, you just a spoke. Matter of fact, I'm the joker, you a joke. Nigga, I'm the highway like I'm Chris Cornell. Maybe I'm heaven, maybe I'm hell. But you see, I'm God's artist, painted with the blood of fallen martyrs. Regardless if I ship a mill or this goes chartless. Me and Tony Ends can get the farthest. This is all WrestleMania moment coming straight from the garden. Fuck you.
Oh,
Jerry X in the building.
I
That's
don't
what's
need
up right
music. I don't need music.
and
I
see,
created
you know that to me is why people just love music. This is the reason why what music means to me is that it comes from the heart, comes from the soul. When somebody can spit like that, or somebody can sing, or somebody has this musical talent behind them, and it just comes out and flows naturally. Folks, listen to me out there. Your boy from Brooklyn says, if you got music, you got everything.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Mathematics and music.
yeah. So the last thing I like to do on the podcast, of course, I'm going to give everybody's going to get a fortune cookie, right? This is what I do. Everybody gets a fortune cookie. You don't open it, then you pass it to the right. And that the one you pass, see, you can't give yourself your own fortune. So you have to let somebody else do it for you. So you get the fortune cookie.
That's
Stay
what
right
I
there.
do all the time.
He deep, people. He deep.
Here we go.
All right. So you know how it goes here. So everybody gets a fortune cookie, right? Okay. So everybody take one. Everybody take one. All right.
You got one?
And then you don't open it. You don't open it. All right. We got to get one more. Okay. Got it?
Right there, right
All right. So we're going to get one more. Okay. You hold on to that. So you take the fortune cookie now and you pass it to your right.
The other right.
The other right, Jerry.
I don't know right and left in English.
Listen to me. And sometimes you don't know right from wrong. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I always know right from wrong.
Okay. So now everybody open your fortune. And
I have it. I got it passed to the right already.
nope, that's it.
Well,
it got
that's
passed.
it. Hot potato.
Oh, well, she got that from Jerry. I mean, you passed it to her anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're
I gave
good.
it to you on the right.
We're good.
You dope.
You're good. All right. So here we go. And then everybody will initially, it's going to go up on the wall. All the fortunes go up on the wall.
Oh, okay.
All right. So you ready? Go ahead, Jeff.
The current year will bring you much happiness.
Say it again.
The current year will bring you much happiness.
All right.
Killing it in 19.
What do you think?
That's what's been happening.
Good.
That's what's been
And that's
happening.
what's up because there's stuff with the Dead Crews going well. You're doing shows. music out there, people listening to it, and what's the reaction?
I'll tell you this. This person said to me the other day, I don't understand how you're not like NWA famous. Like you're so awesome. I don't understand
No good, Mom?
why you're not like super famous. I said, okay, last year you wouldn't have asked me this question. I said, and I don't know you, so you wouldn't ask me this question.
I'm on
I
the
said,
road.
I haven't paid to get into a club or for a drink at a club. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I did that. And I have people saying things like that to me. So what's your definition of famous?
Yeah.
I mean, in between us, the two of us, I'd be famous because you know me because of my band.
Yep.
I know you because you came up to me to talk to me about my band.
Yep.
So in our little world, I'm that famous, and
He's smooth B.
that's what's
That's
important.
all I gotta say.
It's not a matter of you could have 20 million people love you. You ain't gonna see 20 million people.
Yep.
You're
only gonna be famous in your realm.
You're gonna see exactly
That's how it is.
in your world that you create for yourself. That's where it's important. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Indeed.
Yes, by all means.
do I have $20 million? No.
If you
Again, do I
do
pay to do
can
stuff
I
and
have
do that?
some?
No, I don't.
Marvin, let's hear yours.
Mine says it's time to rekindle an old friendship.
Oh, but wait a minute. Didn't I
With
just
music.
didn't I
Look
just
at
say
that.
that?
Look at that.
That's true.
Come on now.
That's
Look
true.
at that.
Marvin.
I think you rigged the cookie.
No.
He could have, but
No.
you should do the theme music for
There you go.
everything.
We should
and
do
nothing.
some you should put a little bit of
You
music.
live 15
montage.
minutes away. You could just whip something up.
Just
I
put a
got-
little something
I
together.
got to dust it off. but
That's all.
I
You
hear
do that.
I hear you.
I'm telling you. Dust it off. You'll be happy. You'll be happy.
Get Wondrous to sing. What?
Word up. Listen to me. We put that together. It's time. It's time. The fortune told you. All right, Mr. Curtis.
All right, it says the sky seems small if it is looked at from the bottom of the well.
Oh,
That was deep.
See what I just said?
Yeah, I ain't fucking with him no more.
See, everything that I've said today comes out in your life. I told you it's the degrees.
And I
Look,
told him about them numbers, but you
look
were
at the
so
degrees.
right. Yeah,
Look at the degrees. I know
less
you
than
through him.
6. Less
Look,
than 6
boom, boom.
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And him soon. Boom. 3 is the most. 1, 2,
That's the
3.
truth. That's the truth.
With me, 3 is the most. That's how close I am in my universe.
That's ill.
Ah,
Wow.
all right. So you ready? Here we go. Let's Mr. James, let's see what's going on today.
Mine is keep your plans secret for now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, that's the good part. You know why? Because he's
Mojo
behind the
Jojo.
Well, he is. He's behind the scenes, so he's keeping himself secret for now.
wow.
That's the
Look at
truth.
that.
But isn't that funny? How ironic.
How the world just shifts to be what you need it to be.
Unfucking believable.
Very
Okay.
believable.
No, believable because it's happened
Quantum
right here.
physics. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. To know oneself, one should assert oneself.
As Elvis.
Works for me. Works for me. Like I said, I'm going to go upstairs and put on my blue suede shell top Adidas. And I
Thank you very
am
much.
going to be shaking my hips. I cannot play the guitar at all.
Neither could Elvis.
I love the guitar.
Elvis couldn't play it either.
And I can't sing. So we're pretty much down 2 for 2. I'm on the 2
you could
L's.
sing. You could sing.
I can sing.
You can
I-
sing. Just
I-
put some reverb. Little
Yeah,
reverb, little delay.
Exactly. That's it. I'm not putting any reverb on
So you can
anything.
see, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, me. The last thing you want me to do is serenade you. It ain't happening.
I don't
I'm
know.
like, yeah, hey, me, you, let's get out of here. We gotta go. All right, listen to me, folks. I'm telling you, I cannot thank you guys enough. This has been a blast. Thank you, everybody out there who watched, who made comments, and who is enjoying the Everything and Nothing podcast out there. This is your boy from Brooklyn. I'm here with Jerry X.
Your other boy from Brooklyn. Yeah.
And I'm
Still in
sure-
Brooklyn.
Still in BK. Marvin,
From the Bronx.
that's what's up. And my man Curtis.
Pleasure to be here, man. You're a great host.
Thank you very much. And I'm telling you, folks, you're going to always want to come by. 5, like my son says, live at 5 on the Everything and Nothing podcast. Your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio. All right, all right, all right.
Shit.
That's a wrap.
We out. That was dope. Cause I
Is
was
it?
off.